we have the first round draft recap for you, second round, and so on. Major picks are going to come. Obviously, if a Nebraska Cornhusker gets drafted, we'll talk about it. But
Hmm.
we'll start into things here. I got Taj with me as usual.
Yes,
Caleb Williams
sir.
to the Bears, first overall. Pretty much a no-brainer. Nothing really.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's nothing else you can really say about it. It's a no-brain pick, right? It's a no-brainer right there.
I
All right.
think I would have laughed if they picked anybody else. Like I would have actually laughed.
Yeah. All right. So 2 and 3 was a little bit of a debate in these
Hmm.
last few weeks of April. Some had May, some had Daniels. You've had J.J. McCarthy, and you've had Patriots sticking and picking an alignment. But I
Hmm.
think the Commanders did the right thing here in taking Jaden Daniels. I like that pick for them. I think he's gonna be more. I don't think that O line's great by any means. So I think he's gonna be a mobile quarterback, and it's gonna be perfect for the Commanders and their offense. And Terry McLaurin, can't speak, finally has a receiver. Any thoughts on this?
Me, that's been like a clash between like quarterbacks, who's going two, who's going three. I was on. I thought that the Commanders are going to take Jaden Daniels. Like they're used to picking. Like I'm gonna make a sim. Like he looks like RG3 just a little bit to me. Like drafted him at the second as well as RG3. They're mobile Heisman winners. Like, but I
Yeah,
think he is a amazing quarterback and has talent. Like you have to have talent if you're a projected fourth round pick to then being the number two overall pick in the draft. So you gotta have talent, but not taking anything away from Drake May. I think he's good. I just think if I was the Patriots, I would have traded down 100%. Like, not just I'm a Vikings fan, of course. I would have traded down because there's so many holes that you could have fixed if you traded down, and you could have gotten a QB like JJ McCarthy later. Like, say for example, if we traded with the Vikings, JJ McCarthy pretty much fell. Like he
yeah,
like depending on if the Broncos or the Raiders were willing to trade up for McCarthy, he pretty much fell to us. So I would have 100% traded back. But that's just me though.
so two teams offered um things for the first pick. So the Giants offered they wanted to give New England the sixth pick, or yeah, and then they would have got the third, and then they also gave New England a sixth round pick. That was declined. And then the Vikings offered them their two first, a second, and something else for it, and they declined that. They stood and picked. I like it. You got your quarterback, but now you got to build the team around him. So we'll see if he pans out. But new head coaching staff there, I think Patriots will see a lot of improvement this offseason. All right,
Yeah.
next, another little no-brainer here about every mock draft on this side of the Mississippi had it. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. I think he's gonna
Man,
be, yeah, I think he's gonna be
he
special.
he's gonna be generational to me. And he has Kyler. Like, I think
Yeah,
Kyler is a solid QB. I don't think he's the greatest, but I think he's a solid QB. Like we've seen what he can do. And with MHJ, like come on, that offense is gonna look pretty good. And just the talent alone of MHJ and his dad Marvin Harrison, they're such similar prospects. Like you can tell he has shaped his game around his father. You can see it.
yeah, definitely. I like this pick. I think he's gonna do great things. I think he's gonna be better than his father. That's a big task. Next, we have
Mhm.
Joe Alt out of Notre Dame to the Chargers. I think you scooped a little too far on this one. I think you reached.
I think it's like if there was a different coach, you reached. But we all know Harbaugh. We all know he likes his smash mouth football, only throws 3 times a game. Like, we know this. And of course, he's going to want to build that offensive line so he can run the ball. But I think you could have traded back and gotten Joe Wall. I think you could have 100%. And
So
yet
here's
again,
here's
you
where
go.
my mind is. So I saw a great meme, NFL memes on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Check them out. I think they're hilarious. But it was if they drafted Malik Neighbors, it was Justin Herbert getting sacked every play, not doing anything with the ball. And if they didn't, and if they drafted Joe Alt like they did, obviously, it was Justin Herbert having time, but Quentin Johnson dropping every ball. So, I mean, you didn't really have a choice here. Chargers did just select Lad McConkey, I think. So, I know Herbert's happy about this draft so far. So, we'll see how it goes. I like this
Mhm.
pick. I think it's a little far. I think you trade back if you're going to stick a line. But, I mean, you stay put, you picked. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I think it's a solid pick from Harbaugh and his guys. Harbaugh, my bad.
I don't think I could have said it better myself.
All right. So next we have Malik Neighbors, not LSU, to the Giants. I like this pick. I feel bad.
I
He's gonna
love
be
this pick.
he's gonna be QB trap. Daniel Jones is not the answer, but
Mhm.
I love Malik Neighbors. I love what he does, and that LSU it's wide receiver university for a reason. So I think that's gonna be great for them. Any thoughts, Josh?
Mhm. I think like it depends. Like if your core, if you like get like how DeVito was good for a hot minute, and like
Yeah,
just for a couple of weeks he was a solid QB. If they can get
yeah.
somebody like that, I think y'all have a pretty good offense. I'm not saying amazing because y'all lost Saquon. And that was your entire offense, but now you got
Yeah,
you got him. So you just need a QB, and I think that offense can be solid. But I think you could have traded back, especially because Rome and like all the receivers kind of fell, which was surprising to me. So I don't. I like the pick. I like the pick, but there's just a bunch of holes on that team that could have been filled there. But I think you addressed a major hole and got a insanely talented player.
yeah. And with this next pick, we're gonna get next two picks. We're gonna get a few head scratchers. Starting with J.C. Latham, the Tennessee.
Hmm.
Mm,
I mean, I don't hate it. Like, I think you definitely could have gotten some better people on defense with that pick, but also that offensive line could have needed help. And it's just, there's no shame in drafting an offensive lineman. There's no shame in that. Like, you got to build
yeah,
up that offensive line. And you got to protect your QB. And say they want to be a run heavy team, you need a good offensive line to run the ball. So I really respect that pick, but I think taking a defensive player wouldn't hurt there either.
yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. Um, I do think I would have traded back. I mean, okay, so the
I agree.
Saints try to draft up to draft Michael Penix. Rumor saw that on Saints Galaxy or something. And then the Vikings also did. So I think I would have taken one of those deals. Because here's how I see it. If you take one of those deals, you either get JC Latham because he would have fallen to you, or you get Ulfa Shu, whatever that guy is from Penn State. So I think that
Uh
was two
huh.
solid options. I think it was a little bit of a reach. But talking about reaches, this next pick, Michael
Oh my
Penix?
gosh,
Come on, y'all. Kirk
bro!
Cousins signed a good deal. I know it worked
I
out for the
li-
Packers in the past, but
I literally
I,
laughed. I laughed in the living room. when they took this guy. I laughed. Like,
I know. It's just,
holy, like me and Jacob were texting when this pick happened. We were all saying, "Oh, this is predictable. Oh, this is a predictable draft." And then that happened.
yeah,
And
I
that
mean,
just I think Atlanta screwed over many teams, the Raiders, but holy bro.
I
Why? I mean, I respect it. Kirk is getting older and he might retire and it's just like you want him to you want him to be behind Kirk Cousins in Penix, but when he gets that starting job, like most likely he's going to be 27 when he gets that starting job. And that's if Kirk Cousins completely goes through his deal and then retires.
mean, Penix is. It doesn't say his age, but I'm pretty sure he's like 24 or something right now. So
Yeah.
he's gonna be old. He's 23 right now. If Kirk plays 3 years, let's say he plays, he's gonna be 26 by that time that starting job comes around. And I know it worked out with Jordan Love, but I just don't see it working out here. All right, next we have Roman Ingles to the Bears. Love it. I mean, I can't say anything else, but the Bears are winning the division this year.
Uh, okay.
That's all I can say. I mean,
For me,
Caleb,
that receiving core is scary. You got DJ
yeah,
Moore, you got Keenan Allen, and you now got Roma Dunze. Who let him fall? Atlanta. But
yeah.
come on, like that is just a scary team right now. Roma Dunze with Caleb Williams, and then you have older receivers to teach him teach him stuff. Like that is an amazing pick. The
He,
GM for the Bears cooked. He cooked
I'm
with
telling
this
you,
draft.
they're a top 10 team next
Mm,
year.
hmm
They're winning the division. It's as simple as that.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. I mean, we'll do
Well,
the
we'll see Detroit.
predictor. We'll wait and see.
Detroit made him a solid pick later in this draft that we'll get to. Next, we have a trade. I don't think there had been any trades yet because I feel bad if I missed them. Yeah, there haven't. This was the first trade of the night. JJ McCarthy was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings in a trade where the Jets gave up the 10th overall pick to Minnesota. And JJ, Kosh, I'll let you start this. Your team, your guy. See how you feel
Ooh,
about this.
I have things to say about this. They gave up nothing for this pick swap. If anything, it helps the Jets too, because now it makes them give less for their player they draft. But we got our guy and we secured our guy because there's also people like the teams like the Broncos and the Raiders were willing to trade up. So we had to secure our guy. And when we got our guy, who I checked his highlight reel, he might have handed the ball off every season, every play pretty much. But when he threw, he has a cannon. Like I love this pick. Like I think Kwesi Adafamenta, the GM for the Vikings, cooked. And that's not. This is not even like the part where they cooked. He pretty much just fell into the lap of the Vikings. Like he fell.
Yeah, well, I gotta interrupt you real quick. This is leaving the sport of football. Tyrese Halliburton just hit it and won to win the game.
Uh huh.
Yeah, that's
I saw
crazy.
that. I saw that notification. That was a crazy game. I was watching it before this recording.
Yeah. So
But
that just happened while we were watching. Tyrese Halliburton just hit the buzzer beater shot, takes the lead, the series 2-1. I just thought that's it. But I think JJ McCarthy is a great pick here. I love it.
mhm,
Obviously, the Vikings did some things later in the draft that I love, but I mean,
just wow, bro.
yeah.
That was a good pick. Like
The NFC North
yeah,
can really be. Is that the right division? I think it is. NFC North
NFC
can
North.
really
Yes.
be the best division in football next year.
We'll get into that on like a
Yeah.
podcast episode later, but that division is stacked with talent right now.
All right. Number 11, Ol Bashu to the New York Jets. Love it. Hate it at the same time because I really wanted the Saints again. But I like the Saints pick, so I'll talk about that when we get there. But I love this pick for them. I think this is going to be a great pick. I think
I
he'll
like
work
this
out.
pick as well.
I think he's the best O-lineman in the draft. But this next pick had me dying on the carpet. Bo Nix to Denver with
Yup.
12th
Yup.
pick in the draft. My brother's a Broncos fan. For you guys who don't know, he's been on podcast once or twice, I think. And wow, Bo Nix,
Bro, like, why? Why?
don't
Why?
know.
I think he could have fell 100%. Or I think the Raiders probably would have taken him, but
I don't think they
yeah.
would have. Brock Bowers right now would have been so crazy. Brock Bowers could have been a slant guy for Zach Wilson III, dude. He can't mess up that every time. Wow. I'm speechless from this pick. All right. You got any thoughts on it?
I think I agree with you, bro. Like, on like having a guy like Brock Bowers, how could you pass up on that? And also, say you're trash for next year. You know who you get if you're like really trash and you get the first overall pick? Shadur Sanders. Just wait
I'm
1
saying.
year.
All right. Next pick, we have the guy Denver. Prototypian Brock Bowers. And I love Bowers. I mean,
I don't hate this pick, but yet I don't like love this pick. It's just like you gotta pick best overall. There's no shame in that really. Like it's Brock Bowers. He's gonna be a solid play. He might be one of the best tight ends like in the league at some point during his career. Like he's gonna be amazing.
They went best player available instead of best fit available, and I don't hate that. All right. Next, we have the Saints here picking. Oh God, Talise Fuga. Listen, I follow you on Instagram, so it's okay if I mess up your name once or twice. But I think you are a great player, outstanding. I'm so excited. 0 sacks allowed at his time in Oregon State on 738 pass attempts. That is crazy.
Ooh, that's crazy.
I think this is the right pick. If you think we should have done anything else in this position,
you bum.
I don't know what you're doing. You can see they try to trade up for Michael Penix. So, I mean, if you were thinking quarterback, they tried. But I think this is better than Penix. I think Derek Carr will be the answer for a few more years. I love this pick. And now that was a lot of offense.
I don't hate that. Yeah, that was a lot of offense. I don't hate that pick either. I agree with you, Jacob. And also that was so much offense. And there were 6 QBs taken out of a dozen picks, the most in the NFL.
14 players and not one defensive player. All right, but now we get to the defensive players with Latu. I'm just gonna say it like that. I think it's wrong, but he got drafted to the Indianapolis Colts. Love him. Love this pick.
UCLA edge rusher. I love that pick.
Yeah, in our mock draft, I don't think we had him going here. We had him going, I think, at 23rd to the Jacksonville. But I love this pick. I got more familiar with his game once Kaj told me you thought he should have been higher. So I got more familiar with his game, and I like this guy a lot. Second best edge rusher though, I don't think I would have picked him over the guy Minnesota stole out of the draft here. We'll get to. Yeah, but first we got to get to another defensive player in Byron Murphy to the Seahawks. Love this. I thought the Bears were gonna do it for a minute because I thought Bears were gonna be like Byron Murphy. Yeah, I think Byron Murphy is a once in a lifetime player.
He's generational.
Yeah, I love this pick. I think I mean, I don't watch. I watch a lot of college football, but not too familiar with the players unless they're on Nebraska. And I
Hmm.
remember watching the whatever it's called Red River Rivalry game and looking up his name
Uh-huh.
after the game, and yeah, I was stunned. He is a phenomenal player.
I
All
like
right,
because if I watched a little bit of his tape because it was like earlier in the year and it was like Kirk Cousins. We thought we were going to re-sign him earlier in the year, so I watched his tape. He is just a absolute like he is so good, and I'm so happy for the Seattle Seahawks, and that defensive line is shaping up to be one of the best.
yeah. All right, next, and then we'll go kind of a little more of a fast pace here after this pick because this is the only good one. We'll talk about the Chiefs for a little bit, obviously, but Dallas Turner to Minnesota, the steal of the night, the best pick of the
Hmm.
night. I mean, wow.
This, oh my gosh, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. When this, okay, I have a little story. I was brushing my teeth, taking a shower, and then Jacob calls me. I didn't think we weren't gonna pick till 23, and Jacob calls me and he says, "You're not gonna believe this. You're gonna cry when you hear about this." And I was scared. I was like, "Oh no, did we trade somebody crazy? Did we trade Justin Jefferson or something like that?" And then he was like, "No, y'all traded up to get Dallas Turner from Jacksonville." I was just like, "What? How?" And we gave up. We sort of gave up a next year's third and forced from this year, which really like to get
Yeah,
Dallas Turner, that's not
yeah.
that's not a lot. And there's people on Twitter and stuff saying, "Oh, you look at the statistics, and you've seen that the Vikings actually lost this trade." Okay, we lost the trade. We got Dallas Turner for nothing. How?
All right. Yeah, that was the best trade of the night. All right, next we've got. I'm not too familiar with this game. Marius Mims, offensive tackle, 6'8",
Yeah,
340. He's big. Not too familiar on his game. I'd like Bengals going offensive tackle though. So
he's huge though, right? He's like 6'8", right?
yeah, he's 6'8", 340. So
That's a big
I
boy.
like this pick for them. Don't know too much about him, but I like it. Now a lot of people had this guy going to the Saints in some mock drafts. So I got familiar with this game, and this is Jared Bruce, and I like this pick
Uh-huh.
a lot. He's one of the most talented defensive edge rushers in the 2024 class. I think this is a phenomenal pick. The Rams answered their needs.
You know what's the funniest thing to me? The
What?
last time the Rams got a first round pick, they picked Jared Goff. And then this week, or yesterday for us, at the time of recording this, they got Jared Verse.
Yeah,
They just
Jared
really like
Bruce.
their Jareds.
Yeah, that's crazy. They did just draft a defensive tackle today in the draft. Another guy I thought fell really far. I thought he was gonna be top 15, maybe even top 10. Troy Fatima, offensive tackle and offensive guard. He plays both. Not too familiar with his game, but I did see that he allowed one sack in like 749 something pass attempts.
Hmm.
So I think he's insane. I mean this is a great offensive line class, I think, in this first round.
Yeah.
Next we have a guy that I liked. I thought was gonna fall to Detroit. My friend Carson, he's been on the channel, I think.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. He's a Detroit fan. He told me that they might get him, and I was like, that's a pretty good pick. But they did not. And Chop Robinson, I think he's great. Miami
Hmm.
just adds to that team, and him and Bradley Chubb, I was blanking there, are gonna be a great combo in that back. I can't think still, but
And
whatever.
the defensive line.
Yeah, in that defensive things. All right. So next was a pick that I'm gonna let you talk about because this pick left me speechless. I'll let you talk about this first. How did he fall to
Uh-huh.
the Eagles? Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback
Uh-huh.
out of Toledo.
I
Oh my
was
goodness.
so shocked. How like he was one of the best DBs in all of college football. Like there I like this is where I say Atlanta kind of messed up the trade for everybody. Like
Yeah.
why like I think that could have been a good spot where Mitchell would have landed, which is Atlanta. I think he probably would have I would have taken somebody defensive there, but that's a scary team for the Eagles, bro. That's a
Yeah.
scary team.
And they
Because now
drafted
they got
Cooper DeJean
Saquon.
today.
We're
Um,
gonna go more in depth with that pick
on the
next
podcast.
podcast episode, but that secondary is oh
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Brian Thomas Jr. to LSU. Great pick, phenomenal
mhm.
pick, love it. Great wide receiver. Surprised I thought this was about where he was gonna go. Thought
Yeah,
maybe a little earlier.
late
I
first
also
round.
thought he could fall to the um. He's a great pick. Not too familiar with his game, but I think it's a great pick. Next,
Hmm.
now Carson, who I mentioned earlier, was a little mad about this pick. I thought it was a good pick. Taron Arnold to
Yeah,
to
I
Detroit.
think it's a good pick.
I like this pick. I don't know why he doesn't. Cornerback was in need of that secondary in Detroit, so I think it's a phenomenal pick. All right,
Yeah.
these next two, three, I don't know too much about. So, Kaj, you can stop me, but I'm gonna base on their size, weight, position, and what team they went to, and if how I think it's a good pick, and then I'll say good pick, and then you'll say whatever you think it is, good or bad. All right. So Jordan Morgan to the Packers, I think that's a good pick. He's 6'5", 311 pounds. Packers need O-line after David Bakhtiari left, so I think that's a good pick. What about you, Gosh?
I 100% agree. I think he's going to be a good replacement for Bakhtiari. And yet again, I say there's no shame in taking an offensive lineman, and they just needed somebody there.
Yeah. Next is Graham Barton. I like it.
Who did he
I
go to again?
He went to Tampa. Sorry, I didn't say that. He
Uh,
was the number
Tampa.
one center
Yeah,
in the class. Um, he played on Duke. He's 6'5", 313. He's decent size. Um, don't am I tripping? Don't the Buccaneers have a good center?
no, the center that they had that he retired.
Okay. Oh,
So you're right. He had one of the best centers in the league, other than Jason Kelsey,
yeah.
but then he retired. So
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I like it. All right. Do you think it's a good pick? Bad pick? What do you think?
I think this is a really good pick because you needed to address that center position, and I really like it. I think it was a good pick. He's talented, and yeah, just a really good pick to make that offensive line better.
Yeah. Next, we have Darius Robbins. Now, he's an edge rusher to the Cardinals. 6'5", 285 pounds. I don't know. He went to Missouri. I don't know anything about him. Like these other
I
two guys,
know a
I knew
little
their
bit
name.
about him,
I knew what
not a
schools they
lot.
went to and stuff, but I had no clue who this guy was. So you can talk
I
about
know a little bit about him. Like I watched him during when we got the 23rd pick, and I thought he'd fall this far. So I was like, now that Daniil's gone, I'll watch him because I was taking pretty much every single possibility that could happen. And he's not horrible. I don't hate the pick. He's not Jared Verse, but he's a solid edge rusher. Like he's 6'5", and he's fast, and he uses his hands, and he's just a solid player.
All right, next we have Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. I mean, they might do it. They might
They
3-peat.
got it from the Bills, bro. Why?
Especially, why are you fielding You're feeding your rivals. I don't know what the Bills were doing here. That is the dumbest
Those were just
decision you
like,
could make.
bro.
You could have made it a better decision is taking Xavier Worthy yourself and not using him. That's a better
I don't
decision than
even
what they
think
did.
Xavier Worthy was like a first round guy. Like I think he was the first person taken in the second.
You know,
Like
my dad brought
there were a
awareness to me.
bunch of
And I think Adion Mitchell's better than him.
mhm.
Taller,
Like
he weighed more. Yeah.
he might not be fast enough because the Chiefs were wanting a fast guy. Like they are needing speed in that wide receiver core.
Well, they
But
got speed in the
you might
races with the
you
receiver,
might
right?
you
But
might as well just hand them the Lombardi, bro.
might as well.
At this point.
Next, we have another guy I don't know anything about. Dallas from Detroit took Tyler Gutson. No clue.
Yeah, not
Offensive.
no clue.
I don't even know if it's offensive tackle, 6'8", 300 pounds. Looks good. Fits Dallas's needs. But yeah. Next of all, Nate Wiggins. Again, where the Falcons messed up the draft here, like Kyle was saying. I think Nate Wiggins was a great guy. Surprised it took him this long to fall off the board, but the Ravens are just the only way I can think to put it.
It's just
They're
it's tough because it's easy to say that it's an amazing pick and it's an amazing GM move. The GM didn't really have to do anything. Like he just kind of fell in his lap.
yeah, yeah. Next pick we have Ricky Pearson. I did not know who this was. I watched some highlights. He did have some crazy catches in a Florida Gators uniform to the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the Niners, by the way. But I don't think it's anything special. I think Adion Mitchell's still better than him. So, not special. And then lastly is Xavier Legette to the Panthers. Again, I don't think it's anything special. I don't know too much about him. Went to South Carolina.
So you know what's? I think this might be This is the worst pick in the first. Well, one of the worst picks in the first round.
really?
Because I watched a little bit of him because when I saw him, he was like, "Oh, the Panthers got a wide receiver." You know, it took him his senior year to get 1,000 yards and 18 touchdowns. It took him his senior year to get that. He didn't have any of the stats up to that level till his senior year.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything special.
He's like a third or second round pick. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, take Ladd McConkey or somebody else.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. But before you click off this video, we would like to say some things. I know we've been gone for a minute. Okay, we had that free agency video. So here's the plan. We are both in sport right now. So we're going to try to make a podcast once every other week until we get out of school, which is May 23rd. And then we'll try to make one every week. I know I'm gone a week from vacation. I don't know what college is looking like. But so we will try to have everyone out this week for summer and then continue the same way once football season picks back up. All right. But thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and we're out.